So, have you checked if you can add 10 Skaventides to cart still, or?
You know, I haven't in a little while. Probably in a couple weeks. I kind of forgot about it, but that you probably still can.
I know you can still get them.
I'm pretty sure you can add 50 or 100.
Pretty available. 100. 50, 100.
Pretty sure.
200.
Pretty sure.
And do you think you'll be able to do that with Operation Hivestorm in 2 or 3 months?
No. I think Hivestorm is going to sell it probably.
Hey guys.
Or come close to it. Yeah.
Welcome to another Lords of War Games and Hobbies video.
Yeah.
I'm Chris, this is Jay. If you're new here, and we do these industry talk videos a couple times a week, we try to. And if you like these kind of videos, you can check our back catalog, like and subscribe, we really appreciate it. Today we just wanted to chat a little bit about a little fun video, a little controversy, a little head-to-head action here. And with the idea of, do we think that the new Killteam Hivestorm release, or the bundle box, do we think that it's going to outsell Skaventide?
Yes.
You're going hard, yes.
Straight to yes.
Just zero thought.
Zero thought.
Yes?
We can end the video now. Actually, I actually don't have no idea. But...
what would make you think that?
It has, you know, okay, if we have our clipboard and we're checking boxes.
Yeah.
Is it a 40K license? Check.
Check.
So that's
do you put
already,
one check mark or multiple check marks?
It's just a one giant check mark.
It's a huge check mark.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Does it have cool new minis? Yeah, check. Like
bingo bongo.
Yeah. I'm one of those people that was probably like always, you hear, it depends on, again, which vintage you are. For some of you, Vespid are like, you've never heard of them, never seen them, or you read them in a Lexicanum article or something. But for the older people, you remember them as like a quirky little, I don't know, winged alien thing that the Tau had access to as part of their like random, you know, collective. So seeing them back, I would, in my mind for years, I'd be like, is that going to move the needle? And I'm like, no, in Killteam it would. It's like perfect place to put them because like whether they're good in 40K or not doesn't matter, but they're such a kooky little, I don't know, unit of weird guys.
Killteam's become a great landing place for those things.
Yeah. Actually, other than Hivestorm, the weekend is loaded like a major release weekend. Like it's a little surprising. I wonder if I guess we don't know. No, they're not. They're not doing the same, or I'm talking about the Games Workshop sales team is not doing the same sort of like extra week of pre-orders, I think, or are they?
Well, no, that's already now built into the system, like essentially.
Yeah, but even with Skaventide and Leviathan, they would do like, they would really, I remember they gave even more time to get your numbers in.
I think that was,
and they would do thresholds for orders, and they would really try. They were, and even the pushing. You remember, like you would give. We would give them a number, and they were like, "Are you sure?" Like they're like, "You should." They sent us a thing. This is cute. Gotta love corporate structures or whatever. They're like, based on some numbers we crunched, you should order this many boxes, and you're like, "I don't think so."
The number's always like
insane number.
The number always has nothing to do with any amount of boxes you've ever ordered before.
No, they just, I think maybe it's probably some really.
It's got more to do with the number they need to move than
that's correct.
The number that you can move. Which, you know,
they're like, we need to sell this many, and
you can just say no, and
the store sells this, buys this much from us, so we think he should buy anyway.
Yeah.
But that weekend is like so. If you were wondering what happened, why Night Lord's box Killteams have been like MIA for a while, because they were saving the stock.
Yeah, makes sense now.
They did a reprint and they reboxed it. So them, the Mandrakes, a few other of the most popular,
the new dwarf team, the new Brood Brothers. It was like literally like it's actually an incredible release weekend from just a game perspective. Like this is why it has the potential to be as big or bigger than like the Skaventide launch. It's because there's so much more to buy on that weekend. Like, if you're not even going to buy Hivestorm, there's a new kill team you might be interested in that hasn't been released before separately. There's card packs, there's rule books, there's like, it's like
the token and whatever,
every kill team person can hit the ground running on the release day, which I think is like phenomenal. And that's always kind of been my like peeve about like the more current like Leviathans and Skaventides is like, it's like this like broken up release where like, they're really hedging people to try to push them to buy the big launch box instead of just saying it's a great box that also comes out on the day where everything else comes out on. To me, that always is. It's like it's almost like a bit of a weak sort of sell. Like it's one of the weakest ways to sell something. I think. Like if the box is great, people will buy it, right?
Yeah.
Just because
they're kind of doing the like, you know, the new console comes out and there's like 2 games out or something. We're not going to give you like, we're going to save a release for later,
right?
Which is odd.
And it's not even that much later. It's like a week or two, right? It's like it's not like they're waiting a long time.
That's true.
But like I just really like this. Like it becomes this like Killteam weekend where no matter what your spend is, you have something you can buy.
Yeah.
Which I really like. And Killteam already is such a great game for that. Like the shelf being so low.
Yeah, I mean the Hivestorm box is now. They are pushing the price again. It's here's the interesting one is it's in my mind a sliver cheaper than a Leviathan or a Skaventide. It's still 280 Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
So I think Skaventide was what, 320.
Yeah.
So you know $40 is like kind of like not a big deal.
It's in the wash.
And I mean optically it looks better. You're still getting a lot of stuff, and then what they've done is they basically premiumified Killteam. They basically said this is in the same strata as a 40K thing, so it's got to be priced like that. And it went from the little kooky, little fun way to play 40K to like a much more serious product. So
yeah,
so they've done the same thing. They're like, okay, yeah, new Killteam rulebook, that's like 75 or whatever on its own, and you want the new widgets and because they've got little miniatures for every like little grenade and barbed wire and
strategic assets. Yeah.
Those aren't just like imaginary tokens anymore. They're like real things. You know, that's in there, and if you buy that separately, it's a bunch more. So if you add up the contents, the box is a fantastic deal. Now, the one thing it has going for it over the Skaventide, etc., is, well, I mean, Skaventide is a complete box too, but this is really a complete. You could just buy this and nothing ever.
I think that's the way to describe it is like it's a literal complete experience out of the box. Like the Skaventide, you can argue is as well for Spearhead because you get the full Spearhead stuff and you get the terrain. But you couldn't really play an AOS game with just that box. You would need more terrain than that probably.
Yeah.
Whereas Killteam, like, you can't buy anything else for that box to increase the experience.
Yeah.
Other than switching the teams out or changing the terrain, right? You're already playing the fullest version of Killteam out of the box, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this was definitely, still the $280 was still like I think we had to pause a bit. We're like, well, are we going to, because now you're like, are we going to move as many as Skaventide? Are we going to move more because it's Killteam? Are we going to move, is the price going to, so that's the real discussion right now. I think we're definitely going to try and shoot for the moon a little bit. Because I think overall, as it is a 40K product, it will just age better. It just has that like the Leviathans and the Skaventides, they kind of run out of gas eventually. People are like, well, I don't want just, because a lot of the value is the minis in those boxes. So if you don't want the Skaven or the Stormcast, or you see them being flushed out online on eBay later. Whereas with the Killteam, there's a lot of stuff that you need to play the game or get into that game that's in that box. So it just makes it's a no-brainer. It's like
it's like buying the kill zone with the terrain, the board, the kill zone cards, and then your rule book and your mission, like your chapter, whatever they call it, the kill team mission deck for that season or that year. You're already like basically at 280 or higher than that with those things.
Yeah.
So like it feels good to buy it just to play Killteam, even if you don't use those minis.
No.
But I think your point about Skaventide is like it doesn't feel very good. This is kind of how I always tell people. I'm like, if you want one of the armies, I think it's always worth it.
Yeah.
But if you don't want any of the armies, you really shouldn't be looking at that box.
Yeah. So no, it is interesting. I haven't. This is the first. I mean, other than even Horus Heresy, I don't know. I mean, they made a lot of model kits for Horus Heresy, but this is the first non-40K AOS game or side game where they put this much into how they want to repackage it and make it like they really are pushing for it to be like the third mainline product.
I think it's really telling too that it's released and will always kind of be released in the year they put AOS out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it shows
there's still another net under it to catch if something doesn't go super well. And that's a whole nother discussion about like, the AOS thing. Like, and I will say, like, I really do feel like this is like, and we say this every time, but it is the best edition of AOS, I think, anyway. And so it has everything it needs, but yeah, I don't know. It is, they have to have a marquee 40K thing. They know that
they've always done
that's,
that.
yeah, you need to have that what do you call it? Safety net or redundancy.
Well, and it's also why I think they were making claims in their reports last year when we did that video on the GW annual reports where they talked about like it's going to be hard for next year to beat last year because it was our 40K launch year.
Oh yeah,
but I think they knew they had a chance at least.
Yeah,
because they were going to put out a new edition of AOS and a new edition of Killteam.
Sure.
And where Killteam is today versus 3 years ago, it's like a completely different.
Oh my god!
Like it's got its own diverse player pool. It has like it's crazy to see this now, but like it has literally people that come in and buy stuff for Killteam only, which I never thought would happen.
Yeah,
'cause it always used to be like, oh, these models are cool or whatever. I'm buying this for 40K, but yeah, they have their own.
Well, what it does is it and I noticed actually it's very popular among, and again, this isn't meant to be like an ageism thing, but like if the guys that are a little bit older that played a bit more of those like third editions and those earlier editions of 40K with like cruncher rule sets, it has a bit more of that in it, in that there's just more going on with each model and there's like more checks and tables. And also it allows you to get this like really fun 40K experience for just like a lot less money. You can kind of, and again, once you have those like rule cards and books and junk, like you're just buying a team here and there, and every you get to paint like 10 unique models once in a while. So it's done well. Like I've seen that.
I think it sandwiches 40K really well, and what I mean by that is like the people you pointed out, which are people that have like already kind of went through the 40K motions and kind of reached a point where they're not really wanting necessarily to collect like a whole range of miniatures now. They want to kind of just do little projects and stuff. But I think it sandwiches 40K in the sense that like it also acts as this really interesting entry point as well for young people. And I do see that there's like people in their like late 30s and 40s playing it, and then you see like there's like late teens and early 20s playing it because it's their first game. Because the shelf is so damn low for it.
It's lower, yeah.
And there's like groups of them coming in and like buying like their kill team. Because like you can convince your friend who may be on the fence about playing a miniature game, I'll just spend $70 and you can play with us.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, you can get a combat patrol for 200 and then like that's kind of an experience, but you really, really want to pump that up to 1,000 points.
Yeah.
Before you can actually have like a lot of fun. And then so it's I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean I imagine they will make another if Hivestorm is the premium box, the tier below that,
for sure the
135 or $40 50 whatever, I'm sure it'll be 150 now or something.
We'll see how much they're treating it like
what they pack in
game number 3 now,
if it has
if they come out like next month with they're like a couple starter set sort of like models or whatever. Yeah, that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, because that I will say the what do you call it? The Astra Militarum and Orc, the veterans and Orc starter box.
Excellent.
For 100 and
like 130 or something like that, 125.
125 or 120. It's a funny number.
Yeah.
Was phenomenal. Like I had a bunch of people that were not into minis at all. Be like, I think I'm going to. This is what I'm going to.
It's such an easy thing to take a gamble on. Like, man, it's just packed with stuff.
Yeah. I think the batteries included thing is huge. Like it really like. It's not it's the one game they make where that little bit of terrain they give you is actually the appropriate amount. And the board is the board. It's like everywhere else. It's like here's a like for 40K or whatever. Here's a bit, but you need like a lot more to get.
And you kind of need a bigger space to play.
And you need so much.
That's a really good point.
So often you do get those situations where the person's like, I don't want to. I have all these terrain sets, and I don't. I mean, although I will give Games Workshop credit that they're, for lack of a better word, forceful terrain inclusion in so many box sets has had a knock-on effect. There's a lot more people that have terrain in their collection now, whether it was faction terrain or whatever. So it has raised the level of table quality for sure.
And capacity for people to play at home. And
Yeah. It was. Yeah, when you made it optional, people were like, but when you kind of started throwing it in everywhere, it's like, again, I appreciate the argument that's like, I just want the minis. I already pay through the nose, and I just want my game pieces.
Sure. But
I'm still, maybe call us old school. I still like, I'm like, if I'm gonna play, it's got to look the part, you know.
Right.
Like, it's, you know, having the tablecloth over some books when I was 12 was like a fine. But yeah, I'm an adult now. I gotta have a real table, man. Like, it can't be.
I hear you, buddy.
It can't be.
Yeah.
So I for one like it. Yeah.
And ultimately, I think the thing, this is going to be a tough thing to measure, but like, you know, we might see Hivestorm sell out really fast. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean that it outsold Skaventide, because we don't know how many of these were made, right? So, unfortunately, we'll never get to know. But I think what we'll say is selling out is great.
Yeah.
And if they can do that, I think you can say the launch was more successful, generally speaking.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look, the internet needs to know who's number 2, who's number. They need to know what the tiers.
We need the
We
rankings.
need oh my god.
We need to rank
we do need the chart.
We should do a tier list.
We do the tier list video of Games Workshop games or whatever. And then we can do another one for dead games.
Oh no.
Always got to throw that in there. It's an ongoing joke. No, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, what do you guys think? You guys think Hivestorm will outsell Skaventide? Are you excited about the new launch? Are you picking up a Hivestorm? Let us know in the comments. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.